Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, grab a seat. Come on in and hit that light, hit that light. Oh, you're at Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. Grab a seat, prop your feet. Let's sip some tea, sip that tea. Entertainment, news, and spirituality. From the culture to the fun, Auntie sets the tone. Sets the tone. With a laugh and a truth, she holds the throne. She holds the throne, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Come on in now. Auntie Mickey's house. Oh, Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, yeah, yeah. Come on in and hit that light. Don't forget now. Auntie Mickey's house. She can roast with a smile, drop wisdom too. Break down the headlines, bring it straight to you. Straight to you, baby. Community strong, conversation grown. Real talk, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Make yourself at home, yeah. Come together, every voice is heard. Every voice. Respect the vibe, let's share the word. Oh, yeah. From the jokes to the prayers, she keeps it real. Keeps it real. Auntie Mickey's house, that's the deal. That's the deal, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. Oh yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. Known in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat. Grab a seat. Come on in and hit the light. Hit the light. Hit the light. You're at Auntie Mickey's. Yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's. Auntie Mickey's house. It's Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. You're in her house. You know you're in her house. Come on in and grab a seat. Grab a seat. Come on in and hit that light. Hit that light. Oh, you're at Auntie Mickey's. Yeah, 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 yeah. Auntie's house. Auntie's house. Auntie's house. Grab a seat, prop your feet, let's sip some tea. Sip that tea. Entertainment, news, and spirituality. From the culture to the fun, Auntie sets the tone. With a laugh and a truth, she holds the throne. She holds the throne, yeah. Auntie's house. Oh, Auntie's house. You know you're in a house. Come on in and grab a seat. Grab a seat, yeah. Come on in and hit that light. Hit that light. Don't forget. Auntie Mickey's. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah. She can roast with a smile. Drop wisdom too. Wisdom too. Break down the headlines. Bring it straight to you. Straight to you, baby. Community strong. Conversation grown. Don't talk, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Make yourself at home, yeah. Come together, every voice is heard. Every voice. Respect the vibe, let's share the word. Oh yeah. From the jokes to the prayers, she keeps it real. Keeps it real, keeps it real. That's the deal, that's the deal, baby. Yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. Oh yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. You know you're in a house. Come on in and grab a seat. Grab a seat. Come on in. hit the light. Oh, you're right, Auntie Mickey's. Yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. Oh.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I've been up all night. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. But hey, I'm still here in the land of the living. And yes, I don't normally do lives on Saturdays. However, I just needed to. Hey, y'all. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see the few that are here. I am blessed to have you here. Hello, Judy Coles. Hello, Judy. Hello, Down South Stitcher. My satin doll is in the house. Smoky girl, what's up? How you doing, my love? Hey, Dawn. Let me see who else. Rachel. Hello, Rachel. It's good to see you guys here. I know this is, an impromptu. What can I say? Yes, Dawn, I came on today. I had something that really I needed to talk about because I looked at this particular situation last week. And it really bothered me because it reminded me of somebody we all know, which I'm not going to mention their name. But if you know, you know. And this young lady here that's up on the screen is the homeowner. And being nice, she allowed this young lady to stay in her AirBnB for a short time. And there's some people out there that's definitely doing this stuff professionally. There are professional squatters out there. And honestly, these laws need to change big time before some street justice comes into effect. I know if I was this young lady right here, I got a bat. I got a bat that would have gotten that woman out a long time ago. And I wouldn't have had to go to nobody's courtroom. Well, I might have had to go to court, come to think of it. Because if I'd have beat her ass, yeah, I'd have probably went to jail. But nevertheless, the amount of money that getting this woman out of her house has costed her is ridiculous. This young lady went from like $4,000 a month for her mortgage to now $10,000 a month because of this squatter. All the shit she had to go through and not being able. This woman wouldn't pay her either. She wasn't paying her. Now she lied and said she paid, but she wasn't paying. And it took her months and months to get her out of there. And finally a judge had mercy and told that woman, you got to take your trifling ass up out of here before somebody goes off on you. I mean, police came and she called the police. She did everything humanly possible to obey the law. And this is what really infuriates a lot of us. When you try to obey the law and the law seems to screw you more than the perpetrator. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Now, if it were me, I'm just saying, if it were me, let's just say she'd have got out of there a lot sooner. Trust and believe. Because like I said, I got a bat that would have wore her ass out. Either you going to go out the front way, out the door, or you going to jump out this window. One way or another, you going to get up out of here. I don't understand how these laws... I understand, tenants need to have laws to back them up too. But this heifer was not a tenant. You can't go to the hotel and do this shit. If you book a room at the Embassy Suites from Monday to Thursday, you better haul your ass up out of there on Thursday. Because you are not going to just stay there in that hotel as a squatter. They going to get you up out of there. So why can't the laws do the same for private homeowners? As a matter of fact, if you have somebody spend the night at your house, if they trifling enough, they could actually squat in your house. And you can't get them out of there if they won't leave. I bet you I get them out of there. If my bat don't do it, Pinky will. And if y'all know who Pinky is, you know who you know. Pinky is my girl. She sits right up under my bed in a safe. Loaded. You getting up out of her. That's for sure. So, I'm going to go ahead and play this first clip. If you guys, put a 1 in the chat if you're familiar with this particular story. Just curious. Because this is a problem nationwide. I'm just curious. How many of you are familiar with this story? Anybody home? Knock, knock. Y'all home? Did I lock you out? Where you at? I don't see no ones in the chat. So I take it nobody knew about this story but me. Dang, it's trending. I'm surprised. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, Don, you're not familiar with this? Oh my goodness. It's going to blow you away. That's crazy. It's all over the news, all over YouTube. Okay, Rachel. Hi, Deb. Smokey's aware of it. Okay. Y'all can hear me. Okay. Well, for those of you who are not aware, like I said, this young lady here being interviewed, she's the homeowner. Her name is Rochanne, Rochanne. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Rochanne Douglas. She's the homeowner. And the squatter's name is Shedija Romero. And Shedija don't look like, a bum on the street either. She might be acting like one. Where's my pencil? But she's doing pretty good for herself. She owns a business. She's working a business and everything. So it's not like she's homeless in the sense of being, out there in a box somewhere. She got stuff she takes with her wherever she goes. And she's a habitual squatter. I guess that's the best way to put it. She's a habitual squatter. She has been evicted on more than 2 occasions. And like I said, it hit me near and dear to my heart because it reminds me of somebody we know. Maybe I should refresh your memory about the person that we know. Why don't I do that? You know what? Let me play this clip first because I want you to see what she's going through. This is in the beginning, okay? This is when it kind of first started before the judge ordered this woman out. Okay, let me turn the music down.
How long have you owned the home in this neighborhood?
I've owned the home since 2019.
2019.
Yes.
This is your home right behind us.
Yes.
And you're not allowed to go inside.
I cannot go inside. Even if I bring the police, she can deny me access to the property.
And why is that?
Because she was an Airbnb guest, and she asked me, she came in originally as an Airbnb guest, and she said that she had a fire in her previous apartment and that she was waiting for renovation. So she originally booked for 30 nights, and she said she just was coming out of a hotel situation and just wanted a home for her and her daughter and a small dog. Okay, fine. Then as the reservation continued, she kept asking to extend the reservation because her home was not ready because of the fire, which made sense to me because, you know, I know how long insurance things can happen. And then in August, I asked her, you know, when are you leaving? And she said at the very latest September, because she was buying a property and she began to stop paying. And so I began to tell her, you must leave. I gave her a nightly rate of $100 per night. I never gave her any tenancy. I never gave her a lease. This was never supposed to be a long-term thing. And she started not paying on time. And I continued to tell her, you have to leave, you have to leave. After September, she's giving me no money. She tried to put the utilities in her own name. She took me to court to try to put a restraining order to block me from access from the property.
Can you believe, whoa, can you believe this? This heifer, yeah, she's a heifer at this point. This heifer had the mitigated gall to try to have the utilities put in her name to this house. Can you believe that shit? She couldn't even get the police to get her out. You know what? My bat is looking really, really good right about now. How you doing, Millionaires Cove? Hello, sweetie. Can you believe this? Look, I'd have been all up and down the street with that hoe. I'm sorry.
And we ended up going to court, and she entered into a legal agreement agreeing to vacate the property by November the 15th. After talking to a lawyer, they explained to me that she could try to get tenant rights in DC. So to offer her some relocation money, which I did, to offer her to leave. She signed it. We went to court. It's in the court record. And November the 15th came and she told me, this no longer works for me. Do what you have to do. I'm not leaving. I went to the police with my order. And they said there's nothing that they can do, that I need to go to court, which I've done. And I do not have a court date until December the 11th. In the meantime, I see her taking out my property out of the house. She will not allow me access to the house. I've put this sign up because she's constantly lying to the police, and she tried to have my car towed. She's called in false reports on me. She called the police and told them I stole her car when her car was legally ticketed and towed by the Department of Public Works in DC. And I can't get into my property.
What has this been like for you to look at your home? You can't go inside and you can't get the person in there out. It's a stranger.
It's infuriating. I have a $4,000 a month mortgage. All the utilities are in my name. All of the responsibilities are on me, and I can't get into my property. There's a leak in the property. The water bill is escalating. I can't get in there to see what's going on, and I'm the only one responsible for the home, and I can't get any help. I went to court to try to get an expedited order because she's threatened me. She's made fictitious calls to the police over 15 times, and I still can't get any help.
I'd beat her ass. I'm sorry. That's it. All professionalism has gone out the door at this point. This is grounds for a beat down. That's right, Dawn. Oh, hell no. At some point in time, some street justice is going to have to be administered. That happens a lot in Atlanta, too. See, that's some bullshit right there. They need to do something about these laws. I mean, literally nationwide. Boxing gloves, that's right. Grounds for a beat down. You gonna come up in my house. I'm letting you stay here an extended time due to your situation. It's really hard to get them out according to the court system, but I got an easier way. And it ain't got to involve no po-po. Oh, hell no. Because she got to come out of there sometime. If she got anywhere to go, she's got to go somewhere. Hey, she got to go to the grocery shopping, take her daughter to school, something. She got to come up out of there at some point in time. And I bet you, her ass would never go back in. The cops ain't doing it though. They want to handle it, but then they don't handle it. And then they want to arrest you if you handle it. So you just have to make arrangements to make sure that they don't get involved, if you know what I'm saying. And my bat is very, very accommodating. See, my bat is not just a regular bat. Before my son passed, he did the liberty of screwing screws and nails into the head of the bat. So if this bat hits you, it ain't gonna just hit you and bounce off. It's gonna hit you and stay embedded in wherever it lands. And that'd be kind of nasty. That'd be real nasty. So you either leave or you become a human pincushion. Yes, Millionaire's Cove. It's where people break in and change locks and literally just move in like it's their house. And you have to go through so much legal paperwork. It's crazy. I'm not doing all that. I'm sorry. Because look at it. You know, the only difference between street justice and legal justice is somebody going to jail or someone losing their life. Okay, I'll hook you up, girl. I'll hook you up. But listen, you still end up spending the same amount of money either way it goes. If you go to jail, somebody got to bail you out. Or you got to pay legal fees for your court costs and all that stuff. If I'm going to go to court, it's because I done administered an ass whooping on getting this bitch up out of my house. I'll have to pray on it later. But there ain't no way I'm just going to let somebody just not leave my house. This also means that somebody could spend the night in your house. They can be an overnight guest. Can you imagine a friend of yours comes to town to visit and, you let them spend the night at your house because they're going to be flying out the next day and they decide they ain't going to leave. Really? Is that what we going to do? No, you don't get to do that here. I don't know where you came from, but you better go back to where you came from because you're not doing that up in here. And that's the truth. That's the God's honest truth. And Millionaire's Cove, it adds up. So if I'm going to have to go into my pocket and pay for some stuff, it ain't going to be to get her out. It'll be to cover me after I get her out. Hey, Camille. Rearranging furniture. Rearranging furniture. Matter of fact, I'd send her a bill for the replacement of my furniture that I used to go upside her head with it. That's some bullshit. I'm sorry.
What? I know you mentioned you went to the court multiple times. You have multiple orders. What are those orders for? What are those orders supposed to do? You mentioned you even had U.S. Marshals come. So when the U.S. Marshals came to remove her from the property, what happened?
The U.S. Marshals have not come. It's the police, and they're saying I need the marshals to do it. I have an attorney who filed an order to try to enforce the contract that she agreed that she's not a tenant. She's an Airbnb guest. She never was a tenant or has no lease on the property, and we don't have a court date. So until I get a court date, I can't get the marshals to get her out. And even then, the lawyer informed me that they may or may not enforce the contract.
Shit.
And why is that?
because DC tenant laws allow tenants to stay. She stayed previously, I found out recently, at her previous apartment for 13 months and only paid 1 month of rent. And this is a chronic thing throughout Washington, DC. So they have tenant rights, and I think that she knows that. So she's trying to force me into a tenant relationship with her, a landlord tenant. And I clearly have told her, I am not a tenant. You're not a tenant. I'm not a landlord. I have no interest in doing that because I'm familiar with these kind of things in DC.
How does she go from being an Airbnb guest, a visitor, to a tenant now in your home?
If you stay anywhere for over 31 days, you can claim tenancy, is what I'm understanding. Even though legally she said she's not a tenant, I have proof that she came in through Airbnb and she signed a document within the court record.
Wow.
Oh, how has this impacted you? So right now, this is your home.
Yes.
You're paying $4,000 a month in mortgage,
Yes.
plus taxes, plus utilities, and you're not allowed to step inside.
I cannot step inside. She blocks the cameras. The police have told her not to tamper with the equipment. She does it anyway. She has no respect for law enforcement. We had the police out here the other day about the cameras. They literally were on the front of the house and told her, do not touch the cameras. And she went to the back and did the same thing.
You told me you learned more about her after this ordeal started. For example, her history with apartments in the past. You mentioned while she was telling you she had no money, she was going to Bad Bunny concerts and flying across the country.
Yes.
What has she communicated with you during that time?
She been on vacations. She done been on vacation. See, she had to leave. Didn't she have to leave to go on vacation? Leave on vacation and see where your shit is when you get back. Go on, get on the plane. Get on the plane and go wherever you're going with your man or whatever. Because, yeah, they had footage of her on vacation, turning flips in the hotel room or whatever. Her and her man. They living it up on vacation. That would have been a opportune time. I'd have moved her stank ass up out of there as soon as I found out she was gone. Breaking and entering into my own home is not against the law. There's ways around this.
She kept telling me that she had an aunt that passed away. I've since learned that was not true. And she has these nonprofit organizations, and she kept telling me that she's trying to pay, she's going to get this money and she's going to get that money, and she never got it. But at the same time, when she was telling me these hardships about her aunt dying and her job situation and her fire, I come to learn that she was evicted from that apartment one day before she booked my Airbnb for under the auspice of a fire. So she never had a fire in her apartment. She actually had faced eviction. So she came in under that pretense that she had been in a fire, but she wasn't.
What was that like for you to learn? What was it like the moment you learned you were stuck?
I don't even know how to feel because I really was trying to help her. She had a young daughter. I understand if someone was in a hardship like a fire, how much that could be. I even thought maybe I could give her some clothes or do something to help because you have to rebuild your life after that. It's shocking to me that you would abuse a system like that. And I'm a very giving person. I would have helped her. And I tried to help her by extending because I never wanted to be a tenant in DC because of this.
Bingo, Judy. She's a grifter. This is how she survives. There's nothing wrong with this woman's life in terms of I can't pay my bills or I'm going through hard times or my auntie died. This happened to me. No, this is what people like that do. They're grifters. It's a con. It's a con. And we all know we've had our own experiences with a con. Because this was one of his cons, if y'all know who I'm talking about. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, that fire she's speaking about, there was an actual fire. And now it's suspected that because the fire took place in her apartment that she was in. And they further investigated and it looks suspicious. And that was a way to extend her being there. They had to move her to another apartment. So, I mean, this is crazy. And this is going on all over the place.
I would have never rented to her had I known that this is what I was going to get myself into and what I'm going to have to ensue to get her out. I've already spent $3,000 in legal fees because we've already been
Wow.
to court one time before when she tried to put the utilities in her name.
Your next court date is when again, you said?
December 11th.
What are you hoping for on December 11th?
On December 11th, I'm hoping the judge will see her history, will see that she signed a legal document willingly and that she is trying to manipulate and abuse the system. And I hope that he sees it my way so that I can get her out of my home and be able to sell my home. So, because I can't afford to pay $4,000 a month in utilities for her to live for free.
Sure.
What's your biggest fear right now?
That she's going to damage my home because I have no recourse. She doesn't have any money. She has a $50,000 judgment from her previous thing. Even if I put a judgment on her, how will I get the money back? She doesn't work. She's home all the time. I don't have any recourse. There's over $20,000 worth of furniture in there because it was a fully furnished Airbnb. Not to mention the home was renovated prior to, and then the loss of money just ongoing that I can't recover. And I don't know that won't put me in a serious hardship that I can't recover from just from me trying to help her.
When you look at this home now, was it first a family home, do you mind me asking, or you bought it?
No,
as
I
investment?
bought it from a friend. I
Okay.
bought it from a friend as an investment. I've done investments in the past, so I bought it from a friend, and I wanted to be able to offer it to someone because it was a nice home, and Airbnb seemed like a good thing to do, and it kind of mitigated the tenant landlord thing that I knew that I didn't want to be a part of.
To know that you bought this home with hopes of it being a light in your life, an investment in your life, and to see what it's become now. I mean, you have this red sign up with a sheet hanging down on this home that she put.
Because she doesn't want anyone to know who she really is. She has a fictitious nonprofit organization. She promotes herself as helping the community, but yet and still you would sit in someone's house like this with no money, no attempt to do anything, no attempt to pay, and just basically abuse laws. How can you live like that? How can you live like that? I don't know what to do. I really want to walk away, but I can't because it's all on me. It's my credit at risk. I'm the one with the mortgage on the property. I'm the responsible party, and I don't understand why the laws are not swayed towards the person who's paying to have the property. How could this be? It doesn't make any sense. And I'll be bled dry. The lawyer told me it could cost me $30,000 in legal fees alone, and she could ride this out for a year if the judge does not enforce the contract and see that she's an Airbnb guest and treats her as a tenant.
Nope.
Thank you. Was there anything I didn't ask you that you did want to share?
Did we talk about her calling the police on me and stuff?
We did that briefly. Once you started taking action to try to get her out of your home, what was her reaction to that?
She's trying to retaliate against me. She had a car illegally parked in the rear of the property that the DPW legally ticketed and towed. She called the police and put a stolen car report and said that I stole the car when I had the tickets from the people who towed the car. The police have called me and harassed me several times. She even called and said that I was threatening her at the property, and I was at home in Maryland at my house, and the police are calling me, yelling at me, saying, why are you at the house threatening her? And I'm like, I'm not even at the house. I had to actually call the sergeant and get the officer to call, and the officer ended up apologizing to me because of her reaction. So she's manipulating the police to her advantage to try to create a paper trail as if I'm threatening her, or as if I'm stealing her car, when all I'm doing is try to legally protect my home.
Ain't that a blip?
Thank you.
No. Not in this world. No. Yeah, that's so messed up. Hi, Serene. How are you, love? This is absolutely ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And then they wonder why people go off. They wonder why people go off. Millionaires Cove says, well, I guess my family would be getting bail money for me because it would be on. Yes, it would be on and popping for me. And it's a shame because this woman wanted to do something, invest, have a nice little investment, Airbnb used to be the thing, get you a little piece of property, and, you don't have to lease it out on a long-term basis. You can just have people come in for a weekend or two, up to a month maybe. But this is the kind of thing that kind of takes that dream away. But I tell you one thing, if I'm going to spend $30,000 on legal fees, it'll be to defend me in court from going upside her head. Point blank, period. These laws need to change. If y'all want people to live, see, this is the kind of stuff that gets somebody unalived. This is the kind of stuff that would get people unalived, especially in the hood. This is a doggone shame. Now, there's an attorney that explains how the laws are situated to help tenants. I don't understand. I really don't understand how this can continue. Hold on just a second. They're going to have to explain this one to me, though. I'm sorry, because this is some BS.
More now on a story that's getting a lot of reaction online. A DC homeowner claims a woman has taken over her rental home and refuses to leave. And up until now, she's run into one legal brick wall after another. So joining us now is Aaron Sokolow, a DC-based lawyer who specializes in landlord and tenant cases. Aaron, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Talk to us about this, because this has just been a wild story, and it's raised probably the biggest question is, how is squatting even allowed to happen?
So in theory, squatting is not legal and the homeowner should have some remedy. The problem is in the logistical way that a homeowner can get a remedy. And what you're describing in this case that you've been reviewing is that there's a dispute. The individual who's there says she's a tenant, the homeowner says that she's not. And you go down to court on an emergency hearing and there's a judge sitting there and the judge is going to hear from both. But the district is so pro-tenant and so fearful that there will be a wrongful eviction or a self-help eviction where the owner changes locks or turns off utilities or does something to cause occupant to leave without court order, that the judge is going to err on the side of caution. And if the occupant can show something that leads the court to say that there's a possibility that she's allowed to stay there, the court could grant the occupant's request at an injunction and mandate that the owner keeps her there until she gets awarded a proper eviction. And the problem is, in the district, that can take months and months, and it puts homeowners in a really tough spot in the situation you've described.
Hi,
Oh my goodness. I mean, you're shining so much light on the court process, what that actually looks like. That being said, would you say the laws in DC are favorable to squatters?
Well, they're favorable to tenants.
That's the key word. Squatter versus tenant. Anybody that doesn't leave your house at that point should be considered a squatter. Even if they were originally a tenant, if you want them to go and you're giving them every legal aspect as to whether or not they can go, they should not be considered tenants at that point. Once they break their lease or whatever they have, which she didn't in this case have a lease in that same context of being a tenant. Bust her head wide open. That's my eviction notice. Time to go. Ho. Time to go. I don't have time. I'm too old to be fighting battles in court behind some raggedy heifer that don't want to leave because she don't want to, pay rent. We all got to make it in this world. You are not favorable in that area. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen.
And one person's squatter is another person's alleged squatter, an actual tenant. And the court is going to make sure that it finds out the answer to that preliminary question of, has that individual achieved tenancy status or not? And so you're starting with the conclusion that the person's a tenant, but that individual has a right to go to court and try to prove that she's actually a tenant and afforded all of the rights of tenants in the district. And therein lies the rub. It's not easy to get a court to find an answer to that question. It seems simple. In the eyes of the law, it could become very complicated, especially in the district.
How common is this? You say especially in the district. How common is this problem?
I have personally been involved in a handful of these over the years. So It's not every day that you see it. It's certainly a worst case scenario, but I've seen it before. So it's not a unicorn. It's something that comes up. Remember, in the district, you don't need to have a written lease. A tenant can be defined very broadly. So if an individual can come, and in this case, it's a utility bill is in their name, and that's a common factor that a court would look at. If the tenant, if the occupant can say, here's my proof of some payment, that can be enough. I've had cases where my client, a property owner, a landlord, says this person literally broke in, but by the time it gets to the courthouse, they have some mail with.
Here's the problem. The court system is so inundated with court cases and whatnot that it takes forever just to get a court date. In the meantime, that person has free reign, and that's wrong. They need to revamp these laws. Our legislators nationwide need to get busy. They get paid enough money. Get up in there and get some laws out there to protect the homeowner. Because now you've leaned so much in favor of the tenant that you can't even figure out who the tenant is. And you can't even free up enough court dates to allow these people to be taken out expeditiously. They need to treat Airbnbs the same way as they do hotels. Whatever the laws are pertaining to hotels, those are the same laws that should apply to Airbnbs.
Their name and the property address on it, or something like that, and the court proceeds out of an abundance of caution and is so hesitant to sign off on a self-help eviction that they say, well, because the prejudice to locking this person out would be so high, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt until we can get to the bottom of that. And get to the bottom of that can be a trial that's held 9 months later.
Just the timeline, which, as we kind of were seeing in the package, the payments, this can be excruciating for people trying to pay and not even living at a property in the meantime. Aaron, what can homeowners actually do then in a situation like this?
My biggest recommendation is to be present and to understand what's going on. Accidental landlords, if you just say, oh, I'm not an institutional landlord, I'm just renting out my room. They are held to the same rigors and standards as every other landlord in the city. So being knowledgeable about the law, being knowledgeable about what a court might say about these certain situations is of the utmost importance, as is being hands-on at the property. Usually when I've seen this, there's some length of time where they say, oh, we didn't check on that unit for a while and we don't know what's been going on there. If you catch this right away, you might have a better chance at fending off an allegation that your squatter can allege a tenancy.
So with that said, does it not make sense to make the laws applicable, the same laws that apply to hotel stays? If you rent a room at the Marriott or rent a room at the Embassy Suites, what are the laws that cover those transactions, those stays at different facilities? Those are the same damn laws that should apply to this situation here. Basically, what they're saying is that somebody can spend the night at your house and decide not to leave the next day, and you got to go through the court system to get them out. In the meantime, they getting a free reign, free room and board. What are the repercussions? Especially if they broke. Like who. What are the repercussions? If you go stay at the Marriott and you ain't out of there by checkout time, they gonna get you out of there. Police are gonna come and they gonna get you out of there. If you refuse to leave the room, they gonna get you out of there. I don't understand why this cannot apply to Airbnbs.
Why do you think, from your experience and what you've seen, the more hasn't been done to protect landlords and homeowners?
There's a very well coordinated and well educated and talented group of pro-tenant lobby in the district that really tries to make the laws as favorable for tenants as possible, and they've succeeded to a large part. So this would be a question for everyone's council member to say, why are the laws as they are? But the courts that enforce the laws are very hesitant to take an action that's going to kick someone out of a place if they actually have an entitlement to be there.
Lawyer Aaron Sokolow, thank you so much for joining us to talk about what truly is a very wild story. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. And stay with us because we're going to be right.
Retreader, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Bless your heart. Thank you. Welcome as a new member, Retreader. I appreciate you. Serene said the terms and wording I will never get. It's all foreign to me. Always has been. It's like they muck with your head. They certainly do. That's what laws are designed to do, I guess. Millionaires Cove says, Auntie, I just found out that Atlanta did put in a Squatter Act law in April. That's wonderful. They need to do that nationwide. They really do. They need to put that in nationwide. Every state needs to go in and revamp the laws pertaining to squatting and tenancy, because this is the kind of stuff that make people disappear. And I'm sorry, not today. People work too hard for what they, for the property that they're blessed to buy. And then somebody gonna come along and, as a professional squatter, come and take residency in your house, and you don't want them to. That's bold. That's bold. That's grounds for a beatdown right there. I'm sorry. Well, I couldn't help it, but I just had to show that we know someone. We know somebody who is very, very familiar with this particular type of situation. Hold on a second. If you don't know, now you know. I'm gonna try to make this larger if you want to see it. Wait, let me see. I don't know if I can. I think that's pretty much as big as I can get. Let me see if I can go to the bottom. Nope, can't. Well, we're just gonna go to the top. This is a case. This is the docket to a case of an attorney. Not an attorney. A landlord and quote tenant that we all know. And just looking at it, you think it's just some regular court mumbo jumbo. But if you really take a close look at it, let me read you the minutes. Park Hopili Wakalui, whatever that is, Rodriguez. Leslie Q. Martin called present in person. Defendant Tony Burrows called present by Zoom. General Nile entered. Parties ordered to mediation at the Mediation Center of the Pacific. Phone number for mediation given to defendant via Zoom by order of the court. Case continued for status on 1/2/25 at 9 a.m. in EWA Courtroom A. Reminder slip and phone number for mediation given to plaintiff in open court. This is basically the court docket for a landlord by the name of Leslie Martin, and the tenant or plaintiff in this case is none other than who we know as Quiet Storm. I told y'all the professional con artists know what they know. Professional con artists know what they know. So let's go down here. Do y'all remember when it was said that individual owed $18,000 in back rent? Let me highlight that amount right here. Leslie Q. Martin, present in person. Defendant Tony Burrows, present via Zoom. Plaintiff represented that parties reached an agreement at mediation and requested a 3-month continuance. Plaintiff's copy of mediated agreement provided to the court. Court read terms on the record. Defendant owes $18,100. Defendant agrees to pay plaintiff $3,500 per month, $2,800 of it toward rent and balance toward arrears. If defendant fails to make payment, judgment for possession and writ of possession to issue forthwith. MCP agreement returned agreement to the plaintiff by order of the court. Case continued to 7/3/25 at 9 a.m. We're talking months. We're talking months. Now an agreement was made to pay $3,500 a month. That was back in December of 2024. Actually, no, I'm sorry. 1/2/25 is when that agreement came up. You think that happened? Y'all think that happened? 3/6/25, judgment for possession. That means he didn't pay. 3/6, writ of possession. Granted non-hearing motion to advance. He didn't pay. This is in March of 2025. While we were doing the Angie Stone case and everything was hunky-dory. Hell no, he ain't paying. He ain't even there no more, Dawn. Because the same thing that this woman did to that woman with her house, that's what he does too. Let's go to January, February, March, April 10th, 2025. Leslie Martin, present in person. Defendant Tony Burrows, not present. Imagine that. Plaintiff represented mediation was not successful and has documents to present to support his claim for damages. This is the game they play. By order of the court, default entered as to damages. Court directed defendant to seek assistance for service center and access to justice room to file appropriate document. In other words, he was trying to get out of paying her right then because he claimed there was damages to the apartment. So that was supposedly his way out of paying at that point. So they gave him more time. This is the game they play. Oh, well, Your Honor, I didn't pay because there's damages to the apartment and it's not my responsibility to fix it. She's got to fix it. It's her house. It's her place. Plaintiff represented mediation was not successful and has documents to present to support his claim for damages. He gave her a list of damages. This is the game. Gave them time to work it out. Look, June 3rd, 2025, returned mail. They tried to get to him. They sent him a letter. Came back. 6/23/25, finally a judgment. That was in June of this year. Well, we need the same kind. Man, listen, Retreader, we need them kind of laws nationwide. Nationwide. It's sad. It's sad. I think this is as far as this page goes. But just to let you know, this is what con artists do. This woman was a con artist. She was doing she did the same thing to a previous apartment. She didn't want to pay the rent. Oh, there's a fire. There's a fire the day before she was supposed to leave. There's a fire. And now that they've investigated it, it's a suspicious fire that took place in her place. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Con artists all over the place. All over the place. And it's sickening. People are getting scammed all over the place by people like this. People just like this. But now let's take a look at what this bum has to say. Check out what she has to say. Hold on just a second. This is just part 1 of her interview. Hello, Polly. How are you? Happy Saturday to you. Okay, hold on just a second. They play on people's kindness. They take people's kindness for weakness. Oh, I need an extension because your apartment got on fire and I can't just up and go. My things are, and they play on their kindness. They take their kindness for weakness. And as that happens, time goes by. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, sweetheart. She's a victim and she got stuck with helping somebody else, so you're going to turn around and do somebody else like that. You're a bum. You're a bum. I don't care what you say. You're a bum.
The payment late because I had the issue. I'm sorry, I'm emotional. I
Here we
didn't mean
go.
to get emotional. I'm trying to speak clearly.
I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a bum victim. I'm a bum ass victim. Shut up. Quit trying to manipulate the camera and the lady interviewing you. We see what you are. You're a bum. You're a scammer. You've got a record of it. You did it to the last place. You didn't think it was going to become a newsworthy situation, and now you're embarrassed. But you go ahead, Miss Narcissist. You go ahead for the cameras and cry for the cameras. Give me a break. I kill myself because I couldn't pay the $17,000 in back rent I owed. Tell the doggone truth. I put myself in a bind for helping out a friend. No, you owed back rent. And you never intended to pay it. So what did you do? The day before you were to leave that previous apartment, this suspicious sudden fire took place in your apartment. And you used that to get an extension. Free rent all while. This is their way of getting out of paying rent. And then you want to get on camera and cry and boo-hoo like poor me. The hell out of here. You're scamming. What does this have to do with paying rent? I had to go get my daughter off the freeway because her steering wheel wouldn't move. What does that have to do with paying your rent? Well, at that point, Retretta, she had no real recourse but to let her stay because of the laws. The laws and the fact that they take people's kindness for weakness as well. She played on people. She's a con. Come on, we know somebody like this. They can talk a certain kind of talk and have you believe in the bullshit. Yes, we're going to show that too, Retretta.
Resolved. That took me past the hours of like bank hours, so I didn't make my payment on that day because the bank had closed. I had the emergency situation with my daughter. The next day, I went to retrieve the funds for the payment because I was going out of the country and I wanted it, taken care of while I was gone. But it was.
You got money to go out of the country. You got money to go out of the country, but you ain't paying rent. There's always some reason that you can't meet your basic obligation to pay rent to the person that you're living on their property. Oh, I had to go take care of my daughter's steering wheel. Oh, and I went to the bank the next day because I'm going out of the country. Really? You got the money, but you're getting out of paying your responsibility because you're a scammer. Absolutely. Retretta, I done already said it. If she was up here and tried that, she'd be out of here. She'd be out of here. Either through the front door or the back window. One of the two. Make a choice. How'd you go out of the country? She's contradicting. Yeah, the money was lost. What are you talking about? But you still doing what you got to do. You still going out of the country and stuff. You caught that too, Dawn. Absolutely, D. Dorsey's bullshit. Yes, Serene. Cons always pull on heartstrings to create an attachment. It's bullshit. It's straight up bullshit.
Because I was due, the electricity to the home had been cut off. And at that point, that's when I was made aware that the payment had not been made.
No, that's not coming for her, you guys. I should have closed my window. That's not coming for her. Although, if this were the case going on here, that's probably what y'all would be hearing during my live after I done beat her ass from not leaving my house. Yeah. So they turned the power off to force her out. And after all this word salad, she ends up going to the courthouse. She didn't call the power company. She goes to the courthouse to make them turn the power on again. This is part of this. This is the con. This is the con. I'm so glad that we see her face and she's exposed. I don't know where she gonna go from here because they done put her out finally today. But good luck, boo-boo. Now we're talking about the lady that got her booted out. We're not talking about the previous apartment. We're talking about this one, the current one. She went to the courthouse to make them turn on the power because she wouldn't leave. And she never paid the woman past the time that she was supposed to be there. So a lot of this is a lie. But that's what they do. Liars lie, grifters lie, con artists lie. And then they turn on the water. They turn to tears. She tried to turn the doggone bills on in her name behind the woman's back. Come on, man. And she just told another lie right there. That lie about that sign is that the police did say she could have the sign up there. There was nothing illegal about that sign. That sign was legal because she was the property owner. She didn't want the sign up there, so she took a sheet and threw it out the window to cover the sign because she didn't want people to see that she is a con. Straight up. Straight up con. So she's lying even in this interview.
because
She lied. She lied. Liars lie. Let me find part 2. No, I can't. I just deleted it. Shoot. She's a liar. I ain't gonna make you sit through all that. But she's a liar. That's what they do. That's what con artists do. That's exactly what con artists do. But praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Fast forward, and today she is legally now ordered to leave the premises. Ordered to leave the premises. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Woman had the audacity to accuse the homeowner of stealing her car when her car was actually illegally parked at the house. And the community came out and helped her move that heifer out. Yes, the community helped move her stuff out. So people are not stupid, but it's unfortunate when someone comes along and takes your kindness for weakness and then manipulates the system to get their way. This is a con that it's getting out of hand in this country. And if they're not careful, it's going to get pretty rough on these not the landlords, because honey, not all landlords is going to put up with this and go to court and spend all this money to get this joker out when all they need is that bat. Now, put a 1 in the chat if y'all ever watched The Walking Dead. Did you ever watch The Walking Dead? Put a 1 in the chat if you ever watched The Walking Dead. Yes, she has, Serene. She's done this before. It's a con. You know who has done this more than one time. It's a con. For those of you who put a 1 in the chat, y'all remember Negan? If y'all remember The Walking Dead, then y'all remember Negan. I got a bat just like Negan. She'd have left up out of there. I'm gonna keep saying this until this live is over. She'd have got up out of there quick, fast, and hurry, and go to the courthouse and tell them I did it. But you're gonna be out of my house. That's for real. Now notice she said in that interview, she didn't say nothing about going to the court for contempt of them having the electricity turned off. She didn't say anything about that. Notice how she manipulated the interviewer. There's no real blacklisting, but in the same token, the laws are what needs to change, Serene. It's the perception of what is a tenant and what is a squatter. They need to work it out in the where they make the laws. These lawmakers need to change these laws. Yes, Negan was man, that was my boy. I got to get caught up on his new show too with him and Maggie. But yeah, this is how they manipulate the system. Oh yes, the bat, sweetheart. The bat. I'd have done to her what Negan did to Glenn and Abraham. And that's for real. You getting up out of my house. Yep. Negan is the dude. I know what you mean, Boogie. I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, I'd have done a Negan on her behind. Mm. So they doing that in Texas too, Mr. Phillips? Wow. They need to do something. They need to change these laws before some bodies start coming. Bodies holding plants and and bags of clothes. You know, I ain't the one. Spend all that money on court costs to get somebody out when all you got to do is pay my bail and I'll deal with the rest. But she getting up out of there. I mean, literally, if we gonna pay that kind of money, if that kind of money's gonna come out of my pocket, she won't be living in my house when I'm paying it. That's how you get her out there. Make sure she don't come back. Off. It's called oh my goodness, The Walking Dead. Oh God, it's with Negan and Maggie in New York City. Dead City. Dead City. That's the name of it. Dead City. Just like there's a spinoff with Daryl and Carol. So yeah, it's on AMC. I need to catch up too. I haven't seen it in months. From $4,000 to $10,000 a month now, this woman has to pay in mortgage, in her mortgage, because of non-payment from this woman. This is what I'm talking about. If I'm going to lose that kind of money, $10,000 mortgage because of that woman. Because she was following the letter of the law and it cost her dearly. Now let's look at the alternative. Go get my Negan bat. Go get my Negan bat. 2 weeks into after she's gone, supposed to be gone, and she's still there, she getting up out of there. I won't even have to get on YouTube to raise my bail money. I already got it. Baby, bail me out, and we'll worry about the rest of it. But I'm gonna be out, and she won't be in my house. Yeah, you got to get AMC, sweetie. You might even see it on Prime. You might be able to find it on Prime. Don't quote me on that. But yeah. But do you see what I'm talking about, you guys? The amount of money that it's costed this woman to try to get her out. $30,000 in just court fees. Exactly, Serene. That's crazy. Well, hopefully this exposure on this woman, because this has gone viral. Exactly. This has gone viral. We know who she is. We know what she looks like. And attention has been brought to this situation, and I think people are going to be well aware of how bad this issue is nationwide. And I would hope that lawmakers would pay attention, pay close attention, because this is a mess. This is something that's going to blow up. You think homelessness is a problem. This is a reason why people are homeless. Not only because of the economy, but because of con artists. Absolutely, Dawn. I'd have lost more than my shit. I'd have lost my temper. I'd have lost my mind. And I would have declared insanity. And I would have paid less money than $30,000 in legal fees and $10,000 a month in jacked up mortgage because she wasn't paying. It's sad. She really got screwed. Yeah, Boogie, check Prime and see if they have it there. Absolutely. Absolutely. Laws not just in DC, but all over. All over the place. I was so glad to see that this woman has gained possession of her home again. But check out how much they had to tote out of there. This is crazy business. Now, the beginning of this film recording, you can't hear anything yet. Let me speed it up a little bit. Look at all that stuff. She intended to go in there and not leave. She actually had a business in there. She was running an online business in there. Here's the thing about that Millionaire's Code. Her MO usually works like this. She knows she's on her way out. So she secures another place to go, whether it's another apartment, house, Airbnb. She secures it in advance, knowing that she's about to have to leave here. But I'm hoping and praying that she didn't secure anything prior to this happening. I would hope she didn't. Spend some time on the street for a minute and pay the price for what you've been doing to people. You need to pay the price. But, con artists, they'll find somebody just like you know who did. Somebody will come along, listen to the sob story, in his case, found some woman allegedly, talked a sweet game, got somewhere to stay, allegedly. But that's what that person does too. Yes, secured before she started the fire. Exactly, Dawn. She pre-plans for the next move. And that's what they do. They get just enough time when they get up to the very time where they ain't got no choice. And they secure something else to go into. And these places are not really checking thoroughly. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's somebody in the background somewhere vouching for them as an alleged tenant. It doesn't take anything to call a friend and say, listen, I'm moving into a place and I need you to pretend that you were my landlord. That's how lax these laws are. Exactly, Serene. And they are investigating as well. They've noticed that there was some suspicion about that fire, and it originated from her place. What a coinky dink. It does look like a garage sale, doesn't it? Now I wonder what she's gonna do when the woman don't come back and get her stuff in a certain amount of time. Does that woman have the right to keep her stuff and sell it? I would. I'd recoup some of the money I've had to pay. I'd get a big old sign right out front and say, go. Notice this woman is doing all this work. She doesn't even live in DC. She had to travel from Maryland to this area to take care of this. Yes, it's a nightmare. Thank God she had people in the neighborhood that were willing to help move that stuff out of there. But she had to literally leave Maryland just to come here and deal with this nonsense. You heard what she said. She told somebody she thought this was her house. She had no intention of leaving. Well, you gonna leave today, boo-boo. Doing, Wolf? You guys notice she didn't even bother to pack anything. She was that confident that she wasn't gonna have to leave then and there. She was that confident that she wasn't going to have to leave. She didn't pack nothing. Yeah, she's going to have to sell it. She can't afford $10,000 a month now. You know, that's sad. That's really sad. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'd be satisfied with her leaving. I'd have to administer some Blue Cross. I'm hanging in there too. The fact that she hasn't packed a thing. You see how they just throwing everything in plastic bags? She didn't pack a thing. She thought she was going to stay there indefinitely. That is hilarious to me. That is absolutely that she could possibly be charged with something if she were to just throw everything out there on the curb, because it would then become a problem. Just tossing stuff out there for it to blow in the wind or whatever. So she does have to kind of secure it to some point. But sitting it by the garbage can, that's appropriate. That's appropriate. In this bag. I'm wondering if this is from another bedroom. Yeah, it would be like cleansing a demon. Exactly. To get all of this stuff out of there, she had no intention of moving. This stuff was not packed up or anything. This really caught her off guard, didn't it? I want to see the video. I want to see the video if they have somebody there with the news that is waiting for her to show up to interview her. I want to see that footage. I'm going to look for it, y'all. I'm going to look for it. It may not be within the length of this video, or this live, but I'm going to find it. And I'm going to put it up here too. Also indicated that there was some kind of a plumbing issue in this unit. And I haven't heard her address this. This is in D.C., Mr. Phillips. Washington, D.C. And the woman locked her out. She couldn't get in. She wouldn't leave. I mean, it's a nightmare. And this woman that owns this property has been trying to get this woman out, and she would not leave, and manipulated the system to stay. And here we are. The woman couldn't even get in. She was denied access. There was a plumbing issue inside of this unit that she hasn't even been able to address. So she's probably got some kind of property damage as a result of a plumbing issue. This is how diabolical these people are, just to get out of paying rent. Now, that's a nice couch. I presume this is the homeowner's couch, because when she allowed that woman to move in, it was like it was an Airbnb situation. So you don't come in there with your own furniture. But this woman certainly did move in a lot of stuff that wouldn't normally be a temporary situation, like all those plants and all those other items that she moved in there. She was only supposed to be there for about a month. Yeah, fully furnished. Beautiful home. And then she started playing the ultimate to have a beautiful B&B to share with the world and have that security coming in. Exactly. But no, this is a sad, hot mess. I pray that the owner is blessed even more regarding her next venture. She shouldn't have to deal with this. Real estate issues ain't no joke. You're right, Boogie. You are definitely right about that. But the lady that was the squatter, she was this entrepreneur. She said she was an entrepreneur. You should have entrepreneured your ass into getting your own spot. instead of doing somebody foul like this. This is what payback looks like. This is exactly what payback looks like. I don't feel one lick sorry for her during all this going on. Was she just sitting off down the street watching it go down? I'm just curious. Because you would think that she would at least be running up to the door trying to get some of her stuff. Where is she? Or she didn't want to be seen on camera. One of the two.
While we were okay, Chairman, of course. So have you seen the reports about the accused squatter in DC and the situation with the homeowner?
I've seen some of the reports. I think it's pretty shocking what they've revealed.
I know at hand is the kind of question of landlord versus tenant and that relationship and whether it exists here or not. What are your thoughts as it relates to some of the questions when it comes to DC housing and tenant rights and landlord rights, homeowner rights as it relates to this situation?
Well, the allegations, I assume the allegations are true. To me, the pattern is what is striking to me. And I can't help but think that there is some criminal conduct here.
I know the discussion about when tenancy is established and the rights that that individual gets. What are your thoughts, or do you think there's a possibility to possibly reevaluate how that's described in the district?
Well, traditionally, we look at the landlord-tenant relationship in the context of a, first of all, civil issue, and that it is a contract between the landlord and the tenant. To me, it's this pattern. It's not just one situation, but the fact that the allegations are situation after situation, apartment building after apartment building. To me, it seems that there's intent, and that's why I've said
Hello,
I think
Carmela.
it's more than just the traditional landlord-tenant situation. It's more than just a civil matter. I can't help but think that there's some criminal implications.
Do you imagine that?
So he says, according to what he's observed, he believes there was intent and criminal, criminal intent.
What's being revealed in the reports and the pattern that's been shown could possibly inspire some changes as it relates to tenant and landlords in the district?
Well, I'm certainly willing to look at the law. I don't know that it's so much the landlord-tenant law that's at issue here.
Oh my God, really? It is the landlord-tenant issue law. I mean, that's the problem. A criminal can come in and manipulate the system. The laws need to be changed. Now, this is what boils my blood because this is a lawmaker. Hi, Catherine Powell. I see you, sweetie. This is a lawmaker. He's seen what this woman has done, and he's acknowledging that it was clear that she didn't intend to leave, that he looks at it as a criminal situation, but he then says that he doesn't think it has anything to do with the laws. That's bullshit. This is where the lawmakers get out of doing their job. This is ridiculous.
What do you think is the main issue here? The pattern, or
what is the main
some
issue?
Of the programs or laws that have, I don't want to say allowed this, but allowed the check of the situation to be delayed?
I'm not so sure I would say that the laws have allowed this. Mm-hmm. I think this conduct is inappropriate.
If the law is, if the conduct is inappropriate, then what is it about the law that didn't get her out of there? Exactly, Serene. This old fart it still will not acknowledge that the laws are the reason that these people do what they do, because they're able to manipulate the law in their favor. Then he comes along and says it looks criminal. Well, if it looks criminal, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a damn duck. And what is the duck doing? The duck is swimming in your pool and ain't supposed to be there. So what do you have in place to prevent the duck from swimming in your pool or your lake? He still will not acknowledge that it's the laws that are the problem.
I don't think there's any way to say that this conduct is permissible, and based on what I saw in the allegations, I think there's there's an intentional,
We see that.
how do I put this? I want to say an intentional intent. The allegations are an intent to get of value the rental housing. And I say rental, and I don't mean necessarily in the traditional landlord-tenant situation, but to get of value a housing without paying for it and doing it repeatedly.
Boogie says this shouldn't even be an issue. If you squat and the house ain't in your name, it's a crime. Breaking and entering. You stayed behind your agreed stay. Get out or go to jail. This is some bull. And he's speaking some bull. Now he just contradicted what he said. Clearly it's intent, and it was a criminal intent, but your laws approve of it. Your laws are designed for them to do this and draw this whole thing out. This is because of the law that they do what they do. Get up off your rusty bald head and do your job, and quit trying to blow it off like it ain't your problem. You guys created these laws. Now you don't want to deal with the repercussions. Exactly. This is ridiculous. And then you go upside her head, and then you looking bad. You look like the criminal. Well, your law wouldn't prevent this from happening. Your law created this issue. They say squatting is illegal. Well, what she did was illegal. He's looking at it after the fact. Oh, her intent. Well, your laws make it possible. This is bullshit.
Was there anything I did not ask you that you did want to say as relates to the situation? I know housing in the district has been a hot conversation for a long time. I know spoke to
Let me see. Let me ask a question. What would this joker do if one of us came and knocked on his door and said, "Can I spend the night? I have nowhere to go." And just, he seems to be a nice old dude. He ain't gonna go into his pocket maybe. And he'll say, "Come on in," and he lets you in, and I decide the next day I'm not leaving. What's your law gonna do for me? Or what's your law gonna do for you? What are you gonna do? I want to know, if the shoe was on his foot, what would he do?
an attorney who says this concerns him because things like this and people using this intent scares away some of the housing that we do need in the district. Is that something you agree with?
If I'm understanding your question, I think that a story like this, and that's not to criticize you're doing the story, but rather when something like this happens, it probably does scare some folks about making their property available to somebody, whether it's to a short-term rental, not rental, what do you call it?
Airbnb?
Yeah.
She called the police too, Carmela. The police wouldn't do nothing because they're protecting tenants. She was not a tenant. But the laws are structured in such a way to protect tenants, and it's hard, according to the law, to prove whether you're a tenant or a squatter. And that's the problem. The laws are structured to make it an issue. And it takes months and months and months through the court system. Now, if this was his issue, how many people believe that he would be able to get a court date right away? Not months from now, but right away, because of who he is, because of his position. Yes, if it was him. Yeah, he would call the police. But she called the police too. So is there respect of person here? Because he's a legislator and she's not? It's ridiculous. This dude acknowledges from what he saw that there was criminal intent. But your laws are what created the criminal intent. The laws made it possible for her to do what she did and get away with it for as long as she did, because your criminal system, your court system is so jacked up that you can't even get a court date for months down the road. But I bet your bottom dollar, if it was him, they'd be in court the next day. He'd have a court date the next day. Emergency court date. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, but I don't want to
sorry.
say Airbnb. Short-term.
They called it short-term rental when you guys did the letter.
Is it called short-term rental? Yeah. Okay.
Come up
now
with
I forget
another
what I was
lie.
going to say.
Yeah, you forgot.
That hearing stories and situations like
Yeah,
this.
hearing a story like this, being aware of a situation like this, has got to scare some individuals, especially individuals, not companies, who are at the greatest risk because they have the least resources to protect themselves. Why would they want to do a short-term rental or be a traditional landlord-tenant when they could get stuck? And that's very unfortunate.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Wow,
Okay,
he
I hope
just
that was helpful.
gave
That
us a
makes you-
whole load of bull crap. That was nothing. He said nothing of value. Nothing of value whatsoever. Nothing of value whatsoever. I just wish I could find a video of her finding her shit sitting out on the curb. I would love to see that, but there's nothing available as of yet. So stay tuned. Next time I have a live, if something comes up, I'm going to certainly put it out there. I'm going to definitely put it out there. I want to see her reaction because this is bull. This is bull. Wow. Okay, well, y'all, I'm so glad you guys came in today on a impromptu live. I thought it was important, though, to share this information with you guys because this is becoming a problem. For those of you who may have property and you're thinking about leasing or opening your home up for temporary Airbnb situations, this is something that needs to be addressed in the court system because this is not just a worst case scenario. This is common. This is common. Exactly, Retretta. Said there needs to be a law from the governor now. How would not go through this position would let him get a court date ASAP. Sad and bad for the owner. Absolutely. It's like respect a person. So, but again, I want to thank you guys for popping in with me tonight or this afternoon and doing this impromptu live because this is a very, very touchy subject. It's a very important subject to be aware of in the event that anybody knows anyone who wants to go to an Airbnb or rent something as an Airbnb. If you have property that you're interested in putting on the market as an Airbnb, recognize this is what you're putting yourself at risk for people just like this wench. So again, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and you never know, I may come back tomorrow. You never know. But thank you so much for stopping by. I love y'all, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Good night.
Hey there, my kinfolk, thanks for stopping by. Auntie Mickey's house, where we reach for the sky. Every comment and smile, you make my heart glow. Together we're strong, together we grow. From gossip to politics, we cover it all. Sharing laughs and thoughts, having a ball. me up, takes flight. No matter where you're from, near or far, you're our shining star. Just who you are. Stay tuned, stay strong, and keep the love inside. Auntie